All right, I think I've got it figured out now. It told me to click to add to stream, but it didn't tell me what to click to add to the stream. So, but I think we've got it sorted. Yes, thank you, Morgan. I knew I was muted. That's because I was trying to figure everything out, but I think I got it figured out now. So yay! Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here to celebrate my book release. I have a few Q&A questions to answer, so we will get to that, and then when a few more people join in, I will also have some giveaways. I see quite a few family members here, so that's really exciting, but I will let you all know that all the giveaways I have are coupon codes for writers and stuff, so they're probably not things that you want. So you might want to not answer the giveaway questions if it's not a prize you want to have. So thank you guys all for being here. Everybody's just saying yay and congratulating me on my book, which I appreciate. Thank you. I have some Q&A questions here, but if anybody has any questions to ask me in the chat, you can go ahead and do that as well. So first, I'm just going to say hi to everybody. Thanks, Derek, for congrats on the book. And this is my Aunt Lorena. Hi, Aunt Lorena. Thanks for being here. Hi, Morgan. Thanks. And my grandma, Dorothy, is here as well. Hello. She's awesome and is hosting, well, she lives in a mobile home unit, I guess is what it's called. And there's like a community room that she's letting me use for my party later today, which you guys can't come to because you don't live here. But all my friends and family will be there to help celebrate my book release, which is really exciting. I'm going to put my phone somewhere else so you can't hear it buzzing. And we have Snap That Ginger Gaming, which is my husband. He doesn't do YouTube really anymore, but he might be starting to do that stuff again soon. So go follow him on YouTube if you like gaming channel stuff, because he's awesome. Hi, Ava. Thanks for the congratulations. And the novel Nana is here. Hello. Hi, Aphrodite. Thanks for coming. And C.L. Connolly. How does it feel? It feels really exciting. I will say, though, I had a little bit of a snag this morning that's kind of frustrating, but I'm trying to just forget about it because there's nothing I can do about it. But Amazon, I went to publish my book officially, and even though it's already reviewed it and everything, it said it had to review it again and that it might take up to like 72 hours. So my ebook is officially live. You can order it right now and read it right now if you want to. And the link for that is down below. But the paperback is still not available quite yet, and I don't really know when it will be. So hopefully that will be happening soon. Love seeing some family support. Yes, it is quite nice. Thank you guys all for being here. Ava asks to my grandma, what's it like having a granddaughter who wrote a book? Probably pretty awesome, I would imagine. I will say probably my family members who are the most excited about this are my nephews, which they aren't here online because the oldest is, I forget how old he is, 10, I think. So they don't have YouTube channels, but they're very excited. Derek says, don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you, Derek. Aphrodite says, don't forget to have fun. I will try to remember that for sure. I'm going to have, like I said, a party in person later today with friends and family, and we're just going to play games and hang out and stuff. So I am really excited for that. All right, so I'm gonna get to answering a couple of these questions because I have some good Q&A questions here that I'm excited about, and then we'll do some giveaways sprinkled throughout. Also, I should say that I have to wrap this stream up by 11 at the latest. So, might be done before that, but if not, I will definitely have to leave by then. So, for the first question, I have, who is your favorite side character in Broken Together, which is my new book that we're celebrating, which I guess I should show you all, is right here. It's beautiful. I'm super excited about, I got some copies from, what's it called, Barnes & Noble Press, and they're really beautiful, really nice quality if you're an author who's considering, ordering through them. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. This is my mom, Lynette Buell. She's awesome and extremely supportive of me, and I love her. So thanks for joining us. So anyway, I got this one from Barnes & Noble Press, and sorry, it's hard for me to I'm backwards on the webcam screen. I don't do streaming very often, so it's weird to get used to. But compared to the Amazon quality, they're pretty similar and both really nice. So anyway, super excited about my new book. And to answer the question, who is my favorite side character in Broken Together, I was thinking about this, and I think I actually am going to have to go with Tyler is his name, and he is literally in one scene, but I just adore him. He's a very, very small character, obviously. He's only in one scene, and he basically just comes in to awkwardly flirt with this girl that he obviously likes, but they're both really, really shy and super awkward, and she obviously just is not picking up on any of the hints that he is flirting with her, but the other character in the scene is totally noticing it, and it's just super adorable, and I really, really like that scene and that character. I wish I could have put him in the book more, but I don't know, it's just cute. I just like cute little awkward nerdy guys trying to flirt and not doing a very good job. It's adorable. So also, if you're familiar with the comedian Drew Lynch. Also, if you're not familiar with Drew Lynch, then you should look him up. He was on America's Got Talent, and he has a pretty bad speech impediment. He stutters. And for some reason, I always picture Tyler looking like Drew Lynch, but when he was a little younger on America's Got Talent. So if you know that person, then when you read the book, that's how I picture Tyler personally. Let me see here. Ava says, unavailable. We don't know when or if this item will be back in stock. Just to let folks know it will be. I can still add it to my wish list, shopping list, just not my cart. Heads up. Good to know. Yeah, like I said, the ebook is available already, so the listing is there. The paperback version just won't say that it's available quite yet. So that's a little frustrating. Hopefully it'll be up soon, but whatever. Linda, this is my sister Linda. She says, I totally thought that would be the answer. That's so funny that you thought that, because I was going to say Mikey because he is one of my favorite side characters, and I kind of forgot about Tyler, and then I remembered him, and I was like, oh wait, no, he's the best. So yeah, definitely Tyler. A couple of people are asking who designed the cover. That would be JD&J Designs. His name is Dave, is the designer, so you can definitely look them up. I really enjoyed working with them. I worked with them for both of my covers, which was nice because then they know what the first one looked like to kind of make the second one similar, and they did a really good job of it. And actually, when I wrote my first book and got my cover from them, I had no idea what I wanted at all. I just filled out their little questionnaire about my book and what kind of things I like. I said I like symbolism, and I said that it's a romance, but it's also a suspense, and there's some crime. So they gave me 5 options to choose from, and they were like, some of them were more, it was kind of cool. They gave me like different reasons why they did the different designs the way they did. So they give me one that said, you know, this one's playing off of more of the like crime element. So if your novel is more focused on crime, then this is like what people looking for a crime novel would probably be looking for. But since mine is obviously more focused on the romance, I chose this cover for my first book because it was more centered on the romantic relationship. And I just love the symbolism of them holding hands together and being bound with the rope. Like they're both kind of trapped in different ways. They're both dealing with feeling trapped, but they're like in it together. So it was just perfect. This is like just exactly what I wanted, and I didn't even know I wanted it. So JD&J Designs did a really, really good job. And then for Broken Together, I did have definitely more of a specific idea since I already had the first book, so I knew I wanted it to be similar with the hands, and I, you know, wanted the couple to be kind of like with the pinky thing. They're not like fully together yet. It's like kind of a tease, which is like, you know, it's a very slow burn romance. So I wanted to like add that element into the cover. And I also I like the little rose that they did. That's not something I specifically asked for, but it gave a little pop of color to the cover that made it a little more intriguing. And then my interior formatter did these really pretty pages for the like the, what do you call it, the, oh my gosh, what do you call it, the dedication page. So she put this, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time, there we go, she put a little like rose and a black page. So this is the dedication to my best friend, and then the next page is the quote that starts out the book. So that was really nice too. I was not expecting that. She didn't do that for my first book. So yeah, that was really cool. My sister says, Noah, Daniel, Sebastian, and Lincoln say, we love you, Auntie Cassie, and they're so excited for you. Yay, I love them too. I can't wait to see them later at the party. I know they're very excited about that. You guys, my nephews are they're just like the sweetest, most supportive little people in the world. They think I am the coolest. They love to tell their dentist, apparently, that their aunt wrote a book and that she is on YouTube and stuff. I'm just like a celebrity to them, and it's really cool, I must say. So, shall we do a giveaway? Let me make sure there's enough authors in the chat to enjoy a giveaway. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to wait a little bit on the Scrivener giveaway because I think that's probably one a lot of people would be interested in, and there are some people that might not quite be here yet. So let's see. Actually, I'm just going to do it. Oh, Becca's here. Happy release day. Thank you, Becca. Becca is a member of my street team, so she's been really awesome and supportive and, you know, just helping me advertise my book and stuff, so thank you for that. My mom says she loves my hair. Thank you. I worked quite hard on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a giveaway. So this first giveaway is going to be 50% off Scrivener and Scapple. Now, I've actually never heard of Scapple, but Scrivener is let's see, it's a design. Scrivener is designed to aid you in the creation of your first draft, helping you organize your research and find a structure for your novel along the way. That is, it's like a Word document kind of thing, but a different process than Microsoft Word. You guys probably know what Scrivener is, but I've used it A little bit. I don't use it all the time, but I do use it like kind of to organize my chapters and stuff right before I go into like the editing stage. And it is really, really nice. So if anybody's interested in getting 50% off Scrivener, and it says that Scapple is our easy to use tool for getting ideas down and making connections between them. So 50% off code for Scrivener and Scapple. It doesn't expire until next November 1st. So you've got plenty of time to use it. So for any authors out there, if you want to win a 50% off code for Scrivener, you just have to be the first person to answer this question. And the question is, what is the best book you've read this year? So go ahead and answer, and I will continue reading some comments while you do. My aunt says that's because you're the coolest auntie ever. No, you. Love you, Nacho. So proud of you. Aw, thanks, Jordan. That's my cousin. And Ava says that my family is so cute, and I have to agree. We are pretty adorable. So, so writers, be sure to tell me what your favorite book of the year was if you want that Scrivener code. Hopefully I'm seeing everybody's comments too. I know there was some issues before with people's comments not showing up. Ava says, I already have Scrivener, but just to play along, best book of the year was Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Good to know. And Becca is the winner of the Scrivener code if you want it. And she said her favorite book of the year was The Savers Champion. That was one of my favorite books of, I think last year. Did it come out last year? I think, yeah, it did, because I got it for Christmas last year and I had already read it on ebook before that. But yeah, that is definitely a very, very good book. And she says, and Broken Together, of course. Thank you. That doesn't have to be your favorite of the year if it's not, but I appreciate it. Ava says, yay, Becca, that's on my TBR. Cool. Yeah, you should definitely read The Savers Champion. And I will say that one of my family members who's in the chat right now is going to get a copy of The Savers Champion today because they might have won my pre-sale giveaway. Just saying. We'll find out later today at the party. The novel Nana says, I won Nano, so I already got a code, but I read The Savers Champion this year and The Battlefield of the Mind. Interesting. So let's see, who won? Becca. Okay, so I think I already have your email address because you're on my street team. So I will write down your name here and make sure that I send you your Scrivener code. I have a bunch of like coupon codes and stuff, but there aren't a ton of writers here in the stream at the moment, and some of you already have already won NaNoWriMo, so you already have all these codes. Yeah, I can see that. Thank you. Oh, my sister says we keep being behind and not quite live because buffering, but the boys loved that shout out. Oh, good. Yeah, they live in a place with really terrible internet, so I would imagine they're having a hard time joining in the stream. But thanks for being here anyway. So I'm going to move on to the next Q&A question because this is one I'm really excited to answer. And that is, if you could write a spin-off book about one side character, who would it be? And I have to thank my sister for asking this question because I kind of super want to write this book now, and I hadn't thought about it until she asked the question. So my answer for that is Maggie, who is Jacob's little sister. It's not a spoiler to say this because you find out in the very first chapter of Keep No Record that she was murdered when she was 15. And she was very important to Jacob. He kind of somewhat raised her, and so her death was very tragic for him. And I had thought before about writing a prequel to Jacob's story, but I put enough like flashbacks and things into Broken Together that you really get like a pretty good picture of his like emotional journey growing up and stuff. But Maggie is still a little bit of a mystery, because the thing about writing about a character who's died is that all we know of Maggie is whatever has been filtered through Jacob's perspective of her. And, you know, he's her big brother. He loved her very much, kind of idolized her in a lot of ways. So, you know, his perspective of her might not be entirely accurate to how she actually was and how she really thought and felt through all of the things that they went through in their past. So, yes, I would write a prequel or a spin-off about Maggie, and I actually like really legitimately might do that now that I think about it, because it sounds awesome. So, and if anybody has any other questions, you can put them in the chat. But I do have some more here to answer as well. Novel Nana says, I have to go. Company just arrived. Have a great day, y'all. Thank you. Thanks for being here, and enjoy your company, whatever y'all are up to today. So, this feels so weird doing streaming because I'm used to filming videos. So I keep like subconsciously pausing with the idea that I'll cut it out later, and I can't do that because I'm streaming, but that's okay. You can handle some pauses. I don't need to just talk constantly without pausing at all. So let me see if I have, is anybody, let me know in the chat if you would be interested in winning some giveaways, I guess, for like coupon codes that I won from NaNoWriMo, because that's what I'm giving away today. And I'd like to give them to people if they want them, because I'm not going to use them, but it sounds like most of you might already have them. So my mom says, ooh, that would be so cool to read a book about Maggie. Yeah, I think it would be really cool too. Like I said, I thought about writing a prequel about Jacob's life, which would be similar because they grew up together and they had similar life experiences. But it would be cooler, I think, to hear it from her perspective, because we already kind of know a lot of Jacob's perspective. So let me look through my questions here. Someone asked, what's a book that I've read that's outside of my typical genre of reading and that I enjoyed? I was thinking about that. I've kind of tried to stretch myself a bit recently in reading things that I don't normally read, but I think the only thing that stuck out to me was last year I bought my dad a book called The 49th Mystic by Ted Dekker. And I bought it for him for Christmas, and then I read it before Christmas, before I gave it to him, so that part of the gift was, I'm giving you this book that I just read and that I know you'll like because he loves Ted Dekker. And I gave him also a gift card or something to a coffee shop so we could go out together to discuss the book after he reads it. So that was a really fun idea, and I had a great time reading that book. It was a bit of a struggle because it's so long, and like I said, it's not really my typical genre. And it was really like deep, and I had to read the whole thing before Christmas, and I think I didn't quite start as soon as I probably should have, because I took the length of the book and I was like, okay, I have this much time to read it. I can read that many pages a day. But I didn't really take into consideration how like deep Ted Dekker is, that it was like, oh, this isn't reading 20 pages a day of like a Sarah Dessen book or something. This is gonna take more time than I expected. So it was a little hard to get through, but I really enjoyed that book, The 49th Mystic, and now that I was thinking about it again, I realized I need to read the sequel because it's already out and I haven't even looked into it. So that would be my answer to that question. Derek said I won Nano, but I didn't claim the prizes because I don't use them. So yeah, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I wanted to have the giveaways as an option in case there wasn't like much going on in the chat or I didn't have many questions to answer. So I wouldn't just be like staring at you guys saying nothing. But I think we have enough going on that we don't need to do all the giveaway things. But if anybody is interested in like some of these codes, though, you can always just ask me too, because I'm seriously not going to use them. So they're just gonna not be used. So if you want one, you might as well ask. I have codes for the Great Courses Plus, 50% off Campfire Pro, upload to I always say Instagram, Ingram Spark. It's like a really hard. They're so similar that I get confused. Ingram Spark for free and print at a discount. That's actually a really good deal if you're going to upload your book to Ingram Spark, but it expires in March, and I don't think I'm going to have a new book ready by March to be able to capitalize on that. So if anybody would have a book ready by March, that would be a good deal. And then I have 30% off Scribophile Premium, 40% off Noveler, and 50% off Dabble. So if anybody's interested in any of those things, let me know and I will hook you up. Lorena says, what inspired you to write your first book? That's a good question. So I was kind of inspired by, there was a TV show called The Following, which I don't know if you guys have heard of or seen. It was fairly popular, but it only ran for 3 seasons and it got canceled. So obviously it wasn't that popular, or it probably wouldn't have gotten canceled. But I really loved it, and it was about Kevin Bacon. He's an FBI agent who was tracking down this like murderer who also like is a cult leader, and he's a serial killer. And there was a character in that show called Mark Gray, and he was my favorite character, partially because he's played by Sam Underwood, and he's amazing, such a great actor. I love Sam Underwood. And there was just like, see, I really like redemption stories, and so being that he was one of my favorite characters and he's like the bad guy, I really wanted him to change. I wanted him to have a story arc where he like realized, oh no, like I shouldn't have done all these bad things, and I like what can I do to redeem myself? But obviously that's not the direction that show was going to go with it. So it was kind of like fan fiction, and that like my heart was like aching for a story arc that I knew the show was not going to take it in that direction. And really, I guess the thing that inspired me to write Keep No Record was the question of what would happen if a person like that, like a killer who's killed many people and, you know, done really horrible things, what would happen if a person like that decided that they didn't want to be that anymore and, you know, realized that it was wrong and that they wanted to change? How would they even go about doing that? Like, I just was thinking about it a lot. Like, would it even be possible? Would society even allow someone like that to ever move on from that? Or would their past be too much for people to forgive? So, yeah, that was really the main question that sparked the whole idea for actually both of these books, because they they do go together. They're like one whole story of Jacob's life, and that was the question I wanted to answer. So that's also another reason why I really want to, or I'm really excited for you guys to read Broken Together, because when I was writing Keep No Record, there was a lot that I wanted to answer about this story that doesn't come up until Broken Together, namely about Jacob's life and, how is he going to overcome his past, and Keep No Record kind of gets into that, like, it's kind of the beginning of his journey. Like, that's when he kind of decides, okay, I want to change and I need to, make some changes here. And then Broken Together is kind of like, we actually get to see him following through with that and making those changes and see how it affects his life and how he is reintegrated into society and the challenges that come with that after being a convict and, making some really bad choices in life. So I'm really excited for you guys to read that because it's been in my mind since writing the first book. Linda says, I would love a book about Maggie. That would be super interesting. She says 5 minutes late. Yeah, that's all right. It happens. There's actually a kind of a lag also with the program I use to see your guys' comments. So usually takes like at least 30 seconds before I can even see your comments. Yes, I watched that series too and I loved it. Awesome. I thought that you had, but I couldn't remember for sure. Yeah, it's a really good show. If any of you haven't heard of The Following, and if there's a way for you to check it out online or something, you definitely should. I loved that show. Kevin Bacon is awesome. Derek asks, is there going to be a third book in the series? As of right now, I don't have a plan for a third book. Except for maybe a prequel about Jacob's sister Maggie, because that would be awesome. But that's kind of an idea I only just now thought of. But yeah, no, there's not going to be a third book. At least I don't have any plans right now for there to be a third book in this series chronologically. So I have a couple more questions here. Let me see. Which book was more fun to write, Keep No Record or Broken Together? That's a tough question. They were fun in different ways. Keep No Record was really fun because it was my first book ever that I wrote, and it was really exciting. I've been a writer since like forever. I've wanted to be, like, when I was a little kid. I don't know for sure. Actually, Mom, you might be able to answer how old I was when I wrote my Tail Problem series. But I wrote this series of children's books when I was a kid. And like ever since then, I really wanted to be a professional author when I grew up. So I've been writing for a long time, but I had never had an idea that I felt like could actually be a whole book. And when I started thinking about, that question of what would happen if a bad person who's killed people, like, just decides that they don't want to be that person anymore, how would they deal with that? I realized that actually could be a really intricate story that could span a whole book, and it actually went through two whole books. So I've wanted to be a writer since I was a kid. So, but I forgot where I was going with that. My point was, although I have wanted to be an author since I was a kid, when I was writing Keep No Record, it was very much a passion project. It was very much like, I want to write this book because it would be really, really cool to write a book. It's like a bucket list thing that I can accomplish. But I didn't really have any solid plans. I did end up querying some agents and obviously self-publishing and all that, but at the time when I was writing it, I wasn't really like focused on that. I was just writing the book. So in that sense, that book was really fun to write because it was just really chill, and it was the first time I ever wrote a book, so it was like really exciting. But in another sense, Broken Together was also really fun to write for the opposite reason, because I am more experienced now And I could see myself growing as a writer as I was writing this book. I could tell that it was better than my first book, and that I knew more about how to craft a story. And it was also fun to write a book knowing I had already written a book. So it was like, there isn't that question in the back of my mind, like, I don't know, can I even write a book? Like, is this even going to work out? I know I can write a book because I've done it before. So now it's just like, it, when challenges arise, it's still, it, I can tell that this is an accomplishable goal. So I don't know which one was more fun to write, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They were fun for different reasons. I will say, I think Broken Together was more of a challenge to write. It definitely took me a lot longer. I wrote Keep No Record in like 6 months or something. My very first book, as far as like the first draft, it might have even been less time than that. I was just like obsessed and in the story until it was finished. But with Broken Together, I think there were some added challenges, partially because it's a sequel and you want to keep that continuity between the two books, and also partially because I'm a more serious author now, so I was thinking more about the readers and what other people are going to think of it, and wanting to make sure it's really good and the prose is good and all of this stuff that I just didn't really think about when I was writing my first book. So it was more challenging, but and also because of that, it was kind of, I don't know if I would say more rewarding, but it was very rewarding to finish and be really proud of. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think The Following is on Netflix anymore, but it might be back someday. And my mom is also very behind in the live stream, but that's all right. We'll get through it at some point. Do you still have the stories that you wrote when you were little? How about publishing them? I do still have them, and I definitely am interested in rewriting them and maybe publishing them. And Jordan says, I remember your tale stories. I know, they're really cute, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. My little collection of tale problem stories are pretty adorable, and I'm not gonna talk about them too much because they're not finished yet. But I definitely am interested in seeing about publishing them. But at the same time, like, I am much more interested in writing adult novels than children stories. So I don't know when I'll get around to that. And there are also so many different things to learn about writing children's stories. It's a totally different thing than writing for adults. So there's a lot I don't know about publishing, like with illustrations and stuff like that. I just really have no idea how to do any of that. So it's definitely in the back of my mind. I still have writing pretty much like everything I've written for my whole life. If it was something I thought was worth keeping, I have kept it. So there's also another children's story I wrote in high school that I'm thinking about publishing. It was about an ant climbing Mount Lassen, and it always makes me laugh to read it because it was totally like just kind of a rebellious thing that I wrote, because we had to write stories in my English class, and we had to either start the story or end the story with a sentence that was something like, when he reached the top of the mountain, he raised his hands in victory or something. And I was just like so annoyed when I read that, because I don't like writing about, like, I don't write action and adventure kind of things. And so it was just like, like, I hated creative writing classes and stuff in high school because I love writing and I wanted to write what I wanted to write. And it was like, I don't need your prompts to help me. I have enough ideas on my own. So I was always kind of annoyed to have to write what someone else was telling me to. So instead, I wrote it about an ant who wanted to climb Mount Lassen. And which, if you guys don't know, I live near Mount Lassen, so I know it's not a very big mountain. It's pretty small. But anyway, I just kind of turned it into like a cute, silly little children's story instead of. I mean, I did technically follow the rules, but you know, in my own way. Uncle Kevin has a book in mind, and he has written some things down and has several of his characters developed in his mind. Do you have any pointers for him? I would say that the main thing when like you're writing a first book is to just write it and not really think too much about how to do everything correctly and just get the story out of your head. So what I do when I have an idea for a book is I write all of the scenes as they come to mind. Sometimes I'll get an idea for a scene that I picture as being like the very last scene of the book, or maybe like smack dab in the middle. It's like when the characters have their first kiss or something. Obviously, that's not going to be the first scene in the book, but I write that anyway when I think of it because it's fresh in my mind, and that's I want to get it down before I forget it or am feeling less excited about it. So that's what I would recommend doing, is just kind of writing the things that come to mind as they come to mind. And then once you kind of are starting to run out of steam, that's when, for my first book, what I did was when I started to run out of steam, I wrote down everything that I had already written, all the scenes and chapters I had written on sticky notes, and I put them on a board and left gaps in between where I was like, this event and this event, like there's got to be a lot that happens in between there, because this is like when the characters first meet and this is when they like know each other really well. So I've got to fill that gap. And so laying it all out like that helped me to see where I still needed to add in some things. And that's kind of how I first started outlining before I really knew much about what outlining was. So that's definitely what I would recommend for people writing a book for the first time, is to kind of maybe not really learn too much before you start, because you might get overwhelmed with feeling like you have to do everything perfectly or this exact way. So just write the story and get a really messy first draft, and then I would recommend heading over to YouTube and, looking up some advice on AuthorTube about outlining and just all of the basic craft stuff, or reading craft books about writing. But yeah, I would not recommend doing that too much before you actually have written the thing, because it makes you stressed out about doing things wrong. Derek says, I hate being told what to write. Prompts sucked in high school and college. Yeah, I really did too. I always wanted to be a part of the creative writing groups and classes and stuff, and I tried so hard, but I just hated it so much, because I'm like, I just want to write things that I want to write. Like, I have enough ideas of my own. I don't want to write your things. And like, especially in creative writing class, they kept making us write poetry a lot, and I don't like writing poetry at all. So it was like just totally not what I want to write at all. And it kind of took the fun out of writing for me. So I actually ended up, I think in my last year of high school, I ended up auditing the creative writing class so that I could go there and like write with people, but I didn't really have to follow all the rules. If they had some assignment that I didn't want to do, I just didn't do it because I wasn't being graded on it anyway. So that's what I did. My mom says you wrote your stories when you were probably about 7, I would guess, under 10 for sure. Yeah, that's good to know. I had no idea. Obviously, I was very little. I have a terrible memory about things that happened 2 years ago, so I don't remember that stuff at all. But yeah, I was about that age, I guess, when I first started really wanting to be an author when I grew up. Linda says I have to go, but I'll see you later for celebrating in person. This was super fun. I love hearing all your answers. Congrats again on book release day. Thanks, sister. I will see you later. Derek says, I turned all of my stories dark for school. I got sent to the counselor's office a couple times. That's awesome. I really like writing dark stuff also. I've been thinking recently about, I haven't really talked about this yet on my channel, but I guess I'm gonna talk about it now. I've been considering the idea of writing some stuff under a pen name and doing some like somewhat rapid release romance novels that are more fluffy and light. But I really don't know for sure how that would work out for me because I really do like writing tragedy and like I always say my favorite thing is to make people laugh and make people cry. Whenever people text me, "Oh, this scene made me cry," or "This moment made me laugh," that's like my favorite thing ever. So I think if I couldn't make people cry all the time, then that would be sad. That sounds terrible, but I'm not a terrible person, I promise. Thank you, Mother. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and I am very proud of it. This book is, I think, really good, personally. I think my first book, I will admit, has some flaws because it was my first book ever, and I'm a much better writer now than I was then. But I really don't feel that way about my new book. I'm very happy with it. I think it's very good, and yeah, you guys should read it. So. Becca asked, do you have any plans for your next novel? I do. I am currently writing, actually, I'm going to be writing, it's going to, I think, end up being another 2-book series. And basically it is about, so I don't have a super tight pitch for it yet, so forgive me. Basically, Charlotte is a girl. She's 17. Her parents pass away, and she ends up being her aunt takes guardianship of her, and they move back to this small town where her aunt and her mother grew up together. And she ends up sort of falling for this boy there that she meets at school, who's like, you know, small town farm boy, and she kind of uses him as like a distraction and leans into his whole identity and his life because she's sort of running away from her own feelings about her parents. And she and her mom used to be really, really close, and they were the kind of people who traveled a lot and, you know, experienced art and culture and things like that. They never lived in the same country or city or state for more than like a year. And she's kind of suppressing all of that because she's, you know, doesn't want to deal with it. So she, again, leans into Bryce and his life. And then she meets another man who is a billionaire because, of course, billionaire love interests are just the best sometimes. And he kind of starts to make her think more and address her actual problems and feelings, and just reminds her more of like the kind of life she used to have with her mom and how she actually really enjoyed that, and that maybe this whole small town thing isn't really what she wants. She's just kind of like settling for it almost because it's like an easy distraction from her feelings, and she doesn't have to be sad if she settles in Greenwood. And Ari challenges her to think differently, and that's all I'll say, really, because I don't know exactly everything that's going to happen yet. But I wrote that book, or I wrote, 50,000 words in Nano for that, and I wrote quite a bit before that as well. And I'm really excited about it. It's probably going to be another 2-book series, unless I decide to do something totally crazy and make it like an 8-book series of like short novellas or something, which I have considered, but I don't know yet, so we'll see. You're welcome for the advice. And my mom says, I would love to see you publish your aunt story. It would be great for a local history type book too. That's true. I don't think there's much history in it. I guess I could add some about Mount Lassen. So, but I do really like that story. It's cute. I only have about 7 minutes left to go, so if you guys have any more questions, gosh, sorry, I'm like talking too much and not breathing enough, I guess. Becca says, it sounds awesome. I have to go put my daughter to bed, but congrats again on your release. You should be really proud. Thank you for having me on your street team. Thank you, Becca, for being on my street team. I was really nice having you and getting to know you better, and yeah, thank you for all of your support and everything. I'm really excited. I've enjoyed getting to know all of you guys on my street team. It's been a blast. And we've got one more giveaway left to go, so I'll be announcing that probably on Monday. Have a good night with your kiddo. Lorena says, yes, can't wait to read it. I don't know which one you're talking about. Maybe probably Greenwood, because that's the one I was just talking about. That's what I've been calling my new book for now, Greenwood. That's not going to be the title probably, but that's just kind of the placeholder title for the moment. Ava says, I love the Q&A. Congrats again, Castiel. Thank you. I am very excited. Thank you for being here, and all of your nice comments I've seen on the AuthorTube group have been really great. Also, it's raining a lot. I don't know if you can hear that at all through my microphone, but it's not very exciting because I have to go have a party and bring a bunch of stuff into my car and then out of my car into the new building, and I am really not looking forward to that in this rain, but what can you do? It'll be fine. All right, let me make sure there's no other questions. I mean, I have a lot of questions here, but I don't know if there's any in particular that I was like really excited to answer. Ava says it's like rain on a wedding day, all good news. Yeah, I guess. Definitely is better than rain on a wedding day, I would say. Much less inconvenient, at least. Also, my husband's sweet, and he said that he would bring everything to the car for me so I don't have to get wet. Oh, he literally just commented. I didn't know he was still watching this. He said, I'll carry all the stuff in the rain for you. Thank you, Dylan. You're the best. Isn't he just adorable? Ava thinks you're adorable. And she's right. I've really enjoyed this YouTube presentation. Thank you. It is pouring down rain over here too. Yeah, I bet it is. So we'll have lots of fun setting up. At least the event is happening inside, so we don't have to worry about that. That would be not great. And all my books are safely in boxes, so they won't get all wet. I think that's all the questions that I was like really excited to answer. Someone asked if Broken Together turned out the way I thought it would when I first got the idea for it, or if it evolved as I was writing. And I was trying to think about that, and I don't really remember because Keep No Record, let me see what it says. I think it was 2016 when I published this. Come on. Yeah, copyright 2016. So I published it in January of 2016, and Broken Together obviously is coming out now, so it's several years later. So I started writing Broken Together right after, actually some of Broken Together I wrote during Keep No Record, because again, like I said, I write, I'm a puzzler. I write the scenes that come to mind right away as they come to mind, and some of the scenes that came to mind when I was writing Keep No Record didn't make it into the story until Broken Together. So it's been a while is what I'm trying to say since I had this first idea, but I actually do think that Broken Together pretty much, the story is pretty much what I thought it would be from the beginning. There were certain things from the very beginning of this idea that I really wanted to address. I wanted to specifically address friendships, dealing with new friendships, and dealing with trying to get a job after having a criminal record and this really dark past. You know, as you're getting to know people and you feel like they don't really fully know you because you're not telling them about all this stuff in your past, but at the same time, you don't really want to tell them all that stuff because it's bad and you don't really want them to know. So those were concepts that were really important for this book, Broken Together, that I wanted to address, and I did address them. So those didn't change. I'm sure lots of little scenes and stuff changed here and there, but for the most part, I think it actually is pretty much what I expected it to be. Hi, Sarah. It's okay that you're late, and it's okay that Jace is even later. We are wrapping up pretty shortly here, though, because I have to leave in like half an hour to go to my party, although I do have pretty much everything ready already, so I'm very prepared. Jordan says, Greenwood sounds like a cool one. Super happy for you and can't wait to see you later. I can't wait to see you either. And thanks. I'm really excited about Greenwood. Fun fact, I don't like saying this too much because some people have negative connotations, but I mean, it's true. That story actually kind of started out as a Smallville fan fiction because I love Smallville, which is actually really fun because one of the things that was cool about writing that was I started writing that when I was having a really, really hard time with Broken Together, and I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I hate this story. I don't even know if anybody's going to like it or if it's going to be good. I shouldn't say I hate the story. I was upset. I felt very not confident in my skills as a writer, but every time I thought about the story, I was like, this is a really important story to me, though. It's not something I want to just give up on. So anyway, instead of giving up, I kind of put it aside for a bit and was like, I just want to write something fun that's just for me and that I don't think anyone will ever see, because that'll help me to kind of just write whatever I feel and not think about what people will think of it. So I started writing a Smallville fan fiction that I didn't intend for anybody to ever see. And it kind of evolved into something of its own. And now I'm actually making it into a book that people will see. There are a lot of scenes from the fan fiction that probably won't make it into the book because they don't make sense if they're not about like Superman and Lex Luthor and stuff. But for the most part, like a lot of it is gonna be making it into the book. So basically what I was trying to get at there is that I'm excited about that book because it started out as something that was like really special to me because it was a chance for me to just write whatever I felt like and what I was excited about and passionate about without really worrying about what other people are going to think of it. So I'm trying to carry that same energy into writing it as a book and still kind of just not worry too much about the readers because that can cripple you sometimes. Sarah says that she'll watch the live stream later. Thank you. I appreciate it. Somebody save me. Yes, Jace. Thank you for that. That is the Smallville theme song, and it's fantastic. I love Smallville so much. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. All of my favorite shows, by the way, I have to admit, all of my all-time favorite shows are shows that I didn't want to watch and that my husband made me watch because he was like, you will like this and you're going to watch it. And I dragged my feet and was like, I don't know. So he wins that one, I guess. Doctor Who and Smallville, namely, are the top two. And he's laughing at me now. And Supernatural is up there, which that one I don't think I dragged my feet too much on. I think I was interested in that for sure. But yeah, those are all shows that my husband introduced me to, I think. So anyway, I think I'm gonna have to wrap up now because I gotta leave pretty shortly to go to my in-person party because today's just full of parties. And then after that, we have our marriage group. Every 2 weeks, my husband and I have a group of like married couples from our church that we hang out with. And usually we do some kind of Bible study, but we're not really like doing a study right now. So tonight we're just having our last get together of the year, and it's going to be a little Christmas party and stuff. So I'm just full of socializing today, and I'm hoping I don't get burnt out because I'm very introverted. So we'll hope I don't die today is all I'm saying. And then tomorrow I have my NaNoWriMo group is getting together for like a thank goodness it's over kind of party. So much to do, but it's all really good fun stuff. So thank you to all of you guys for the happy release day comments. There we go. There's a word. Jay says, seriously, doesn't every writer have a fanfic that they like the plot of so much they decide to break away from the source material? Yeah, for sure. I never really actually wrote a lot of fanfic, which is weird because I am a huge fandom person, like for sure. But for some reason, I never really wrote much fan fiction. I wrote like a couple Twilight fan fictions back in the day, and that's pretty much it. But even Keep No Record, like I talked about earlier, it wasn't really a fan fiction, but like I did get the idea from a TV show character that I liked, and I wanted to see more of his journey. And I'm like, how did he get here? Why is he involved in this? He seems like he's kind of not really wanting to be involved in this, and like he has some dark stuff in his past, and I want to know what it is. But that show didn't really explore that character to that amount of depth. So I just made my own character who's a little bit like him and made his story myself. So Sarah says, I'm always worried I'm going to make a jerk of myself at live stuff, but you'll be fine. Thank you, Sarah. I'm not too worried about that because it's really just going to be friends and family. So we're just getting together to play games and stuff. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be great. I'm just worried about getting too tired of people, but that's all right. Oh, my Aunt Lorena says, so I guess I'll take the place of Aunt Jenny. My Aunt Jenny is famous in our family for crying at absolutely everything. And she says, I'm emotional today and I'm so excited this is all making me cry. I love you, Cassie Cuckoo. That's an old nickname. And so proud of you and can't wait to get my copy today. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm really excited. And my mom says, congratulations as well. I'm glad that so many people from my family were here because obviously I really expected this to just be like AuthorTube friends. So that was a pleasant surprise. Thank you guys for being here. And I am excited to celebrate with you more in just like a couple hours. Also, since you're here, Aunt Lorena, if you could maybe get there around 12:30 instead of 12:45, that would be cool. But if not, that's also fine. I was going to mention that before, but I keep forgetting to text you, so I'll just tell you right here. So anyway, I am going to hop off now because I'm already later than I said I was going to be. But yay! Thank you guys so much for being here to celebrate my new book. I will show it to you one more time. Here it is. It's lovely and beautiful and really awesome. So you should buy it. There are links down below. If you missed the conversation earlier, there's a little bit of a hiccup with Amazon. So the paperback is actually not quite available yet, but it will be soon. And there's a link down below to the ebook copy. And once the paperback is available, you can also order that through that link as well. So thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you soon. Probably won't have a new video this week because it would require me to have to film it like this weekend. And obviously this weekend's a little bit busy. So I'll probably see you guys next week. And I'll see all of you family members in a couple hours. So thanks and have a good day. Bye.